Welcome back, everybody. It's Zach here, bringing us another fantasy football video. In this one, we're going to go over the final starts and sits for this week. So I will go through the second set of games that we didn't go over in the previous video, go through every single fantasy relevant player, and just hopefully do what we can to get you guys all set and getting your lineups going here. So recording this Thursday night, we had a bit of a wild Thursday night game. Pretty underwhelming from a fantasy standpoint. Pretty much if you had anybody in this game of importance, they didn't do very well for you. Christian Kirk came through with a big game. I guess Khalil Shakir was okay, but James Cook was fine as well. But Josh Allen, he was garbage. Nico Collins, garbage. Hurt me in a couple leagues. So bad start to the week if you got those guys. Good start if you're against them. But got some important decisions to make here, and we'll just go game by game. If you have any specific questions, let me know in the comments below. And if there's a game I don't talk about in this video, it means I talked about it in the previous video. So go check that one out as well. Starting things off here, we've got the Patriots at the Bengals. On the Patriots side of the ball, Drake May, Travion Henderson, and Stephon Diggs all feel like must-starts. Bengals, again, we know what they are on defense. They're horrendous. These are players that have been good for us lately on the Patriots side of the ball, and they get a plus matchup. So there's no way you're benching those guys. Ramondre Stevenson, honestly not a bad running back to play if he suits up. Lowers the ceiling, of course, for a guy like Travion. I think they're both in play if he suits up. Both limited ceilings, but the Bengals can't stop anything. I think the Patriots probably put up a lot of points in this game, and I like both their odds of scoring a touchdown in this one. Hunter Henry, great streaming option as well. The Bengals are by far the worst defense against opposing tight ends. Hunter Henry, we've seen him do it before, right? He's just a great streaming option if you have him, or if you're looking for a tight end this week. I think Hunter Henry can fill in really nicely. And I don't really think I want to play another Patriot, though. We might get Kayshon Boutte back. I don't really want to trust him in his first game back. If you really had to, you could throw him in there in like a deeper league flex format. Matt Hollins is like, desperation deep league option if you need him, but I just don't want to go there. I'd prefer to sit those guys. For the Bengals, reports are that we may get Joe Burrow back this week. To be honest, even if he plays, I don't want to start him in this one. Just to look back at the start of the year, he wasn't actually doing all that phenomenal. We typically see him and this Bengals team start slow over the course of a season, and this is basically like him starting the season over again. I want to see Joe Burrow play well for a week or two, or just 1 week before I trust him here. You've got him coming off an injury, going out there without Jamar Chase against a relatively good Patriots defense. So I think we can do better than Joe Burrow. I don't think he's a guy that I would want to start, although he should be rostered at this point. That being said, T. Higgins, he's a must start. There's just no way you're sitting him. Chase Brown, more of like a low-end running back too. You can't really run on the Patriots, so you're hoping he catches enough passes. And then as like a dart throw, Yoshi Voss stands out. Deep league option. You got Tinsley there, rookie receiver as well. Again, really deep league option if you're going there. And then just Noah Fant's a guy we can keep an eye on. We've seen this team use the tight end position more when one of their top 2 wide receivers is out. That'll be the case this week, so if you had to, Noah Fant is not the worst streaming option. We've got a toilet bowl here. We've got the Browns at the Raiders. For the Raiders, I just don't know that they can even score in this one. They couldn't score on the Cowboys, and now they get the Browns. So Raiders are on shutout watch. I'm obviously not expecting them to get shut out, but not going to be a whole lot of points scored here on the Raiders side of the ball. That being said, for the Browns, outside of their defense, the only one I think you can start here is Quinshon Judkins. We're going to get Shedeur Sanders in this one. It doesn't make me any more excited about the pass catchers. At least it's different, so maybe there's some sort of variance that could break right there because we know that Dylan Gabriel wasn't getting it done. But I think at this point, there's a reason the coaching staff didn't want to play Shedeur. I'm going to need to see it before I trust anything there, so I'm not going to play Harold Fannin, Njoku, Judy. All those guys are just not available to me if I can avoid it. For the Raiders, Aston Genty and Brock Bowers, they're both in. I know Genty was a huge disappointment last week. He's still on the field a ton. The Raiders, I don't know what they were doing. They gave him 6 carries against the Cowboys defense. It's just not the right approach. I don't think the Raiders are a very well-run team at all by any means right now. But Genty's talented. He's on the field all the time. The Browns did just do a relatively poor job, actually, containing Derrick Henry last week. So if the Raiders watch that, I think the only way they could maybe attack this team is just trying to pound them on the ground. So that's their best shot. They probably won't do it, but you're still going to play Genty and Bowers and just hope things work out there. Next up, we've got the Jaguars at the Cardinals. For the Jaguars, Travis Etienne, solid running back too. I say if he plays, he's training to play, but he was just a limited participant in practice. It seems like if any one of the 2 running backs between him and Tootin are going to fail to suit up, it would be Tootin. That being said, it seems like they're both going to be available here. I think Tootin's a guy that you can play as like a desperation running back too. Not a guy I want to play, though. I want to see that he was actually taking over the backfield before I trust him. But it's an option if you're in a deeper league format or just in a really bad spot at running back too. As far as Brian Thomas Jr. goes, we've gotten a couple limited practices in so far this week. Honestly, I want to start him if he plays. The Cardinals' defense has been much worse over the last couple of weeks. And we haven't really seen anybody step up in his absence. Jacoby Myers has not done anything to command targets there. Parker Washington is what he is. I think the Jaguars will be able to move the ball through the air in this one, and I just feel like Brian Thomas is going to get it going this week. So I would be looking to start him if I have him. Not like a must start, but I think he's like a high-end flex play with some upside, of course. For the Cardinals, Trey McBride, must start, tight end 1 every single week. You're playing him. Michael Wilson, honestly a great play in this one as well. We're not going to have Marvin Harrison Jr. again, still recovering from the appendix surgery. So Michael Wilson, we saw him flash last week. You're not going to get 180 yards and a touchdown in all likelihood, but he's a good player. Super important to the offense this week. I think you can play him. Jacoby Brissett has been a top 12 quarterback in every single week he started so far this season, so makes him a low-end quarterback 1. I think you can play him. And then if you have to play an Arizona running back, I would lean Bam Knight. Just has more touchdown upside. This is a team that's going to throw the ball a ton, though. They're not necessarily looking to run the ball a lot. Maybe they try to, but they're going to fall behind in this one. It's just not exactly an exciting option there, but, desperation RB2. I would play Bam Knight over Tootin if that's the sort of spot that I was in. Next, we got a really fun NFC East matchup between the Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. Hopefully, Dallas can move the ball and put up some points in this one because the Eagles just haven't had to do anything on offense over the last several weeks because their defense is just playing so phenomenal right now. That being said, such a plus matchup here. You're playing everybody for Philly, so Saquon, Hurts, Brown, and Devonta Smith. I just can't imagine sitting either one of those 4. And honestly, Dallas Goedert, I'd play him too. One of those guys probably isn't going to come through for you, but this game has shootout potential if Dallas can find a way to move the ball against Philly, and there's definitely at least a high ceiling for every single player in this game, so I want those guys in my lineup. For the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, Pickens, CD, and Javonte. All 4 of those guys are just must-starts in this one. Dak, maybe not necessarily a must-start. I could see a situation where maybe you have a better option. The Eagles' defense is certainly scary, but it's at home. This offense has been a lot better at home here for Dallas. I feel pretty good about playing Dak here. I do think they're going to have more success than other teams have had in the last couple of weeks. And then Jake Ferguson, more of a low-end tight end 1. The usage is just not really there since CD has been back, but he's a part of a good offense. If you believe that the Cowboys are going to be able to move the ball and score in this one, then Jake Ferguson is not a bad option. Now we got an NFC South matchup between the Falcons and the Saints. Sort of another toilet bowl in this one. We got the banged-up Falcons playing with Kirk Cousins as their quarterback and Darnell Mooney as their wide receiver 1. When that's happening, it means Bijan's really the only Falcon that I want to play. Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney, both lower-end options you could look at. They don't get me excited. Kirk Cousins just does not really seem like he has anything left. Just really can't put anything onto his throws. He just doesn't look anywhere near athletic enough or physically capable enough to put up big numbers anymore. So I don't really want to play anybody there, but if you had to, those guys are lower-tier options. For the Saints, Chris Olave must start. The Falcons' defense has not been very good lately. We saw them just get absolutely torched by the Carolina Panthers. So we know, we can see mediocre offenses go out there and put up a lot of points on them. The Saints are exactly that, but at least there's some upside there. Juwan Johnson, decent streaming option as well. Since Shaheed's gone, he and Chris Olave are the entire passing offense. And then Alvin Kamara probably slots in as a decent running back too here. There's no real competition for touches. He's got a real shot at 20 touches in this game, and the Falcons just don't look like they're ready to compete with anybody right now. So I would probably play Kamara here. Next, we got Sunday Night Football here. We got the Bucks at the Rams. Really fun game here. For the Bucks, Emeka Egbuka, he's a must-start. It sounds like we're going to be without both Chris Godwin and Bucky Irving for one more week, so he's incredibly important to the offense. There's no way you sit him. Baker Mayfield, low-end quarterback 1, just isn't quite the same without all those weapons. It's been struggling a little bit lately, but he's moving enough, scrambling enough, doing enough through the air. You can play him. It's just not like he's an auto-start every single week. Cade Otton, decent streaming option here. He's important to the offense as long as these other guys are out, so you can certainly use him. Tez Johnson, also important with all the injuries, so you can use him in your flex if you have to. And then as far as the Bucks running backs go, the Rams are a really great defense in general. I would prefer to bench both Sean Tucker and Rachaad White if I could. If I can't, I think that I would probably lean Sean Tucker over Rachaad White, but if you get into a situation where the Rams get out to a big lead in this game, which is certainly possible, Rachaad White's still the passing down back, so you could easily see a ceiling outcome there for Rachaad White. So I don't want to play either one of them, but if you have to, it's probably Sean Tucker, but really they're both guys that I don't even really view as running back 2s. They're in the Bam Knight tier, right? So you can play them, but they're just not guys that I'm excited about. For the Rams, Kyren, Puka, Devontae Adams, all must starts. Honestly, the Tyler Higbee injury is actually a pretty big deal. This is a team that was running a lot of 13 personnel. It was actually taking Puka off the field a decent amount. With Higbee out, they're not going to be able to use 3 tight ends very often. They still have Parkinson and Ferguson, but they don't have a 4th tight end. I think they have Hunter Long as well, but not a guy they're really going to want to use very often. They're going to have to change up their personnel a little bit. We saw that last week against Seattle as well, and it does make Puka right back to like that high ceiling guy that he was in the first 6 weeks before they started running so much 13 personnel. And then Stafford, solid quarterback 1 here, just super important near their goal line now. They're throwing the ball instead of running it, so he's got that touchdown upside to go with the yardage. You can play Stafford as a solid quarterback 1. I would play him over Baker if I had those choices. And last, but certainly not least here, we got a potentially really fun game here between Carolina and San Francisco. For Carolina, we got T-Mac, Tetairoa McMillan wants to go by T-Mac instead of Tet. It's fine. McMillan and Rico both need to be in lineups in this one. The Niners are a good team on offense, but certainly they're weaker on the defensive side of the ball, and it's possible that we're seeing this Panthers team sort of just get better on offense over the course of the season. We saw McMillan really break out last week, and that does make me optimistic going forward. I'm not going to play anyone else, though. I guess Bryce Young would be like a 2-quarterback league kind of play, but not a guy that I want to flex or stream as like my quarterback this week. It's just not a matchup that screams production, and he's been so hit or miss, it's tough to guarantee anything there. For the Niners, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, auto starts every single week. Feel pretty good about Brock Purdy, too. The Panthers are a team you can throw on. Purdy has been like a low-end quarterback 1 when he's played so far this season, and he's got all his weapons back right now, so I think you can play him. And then Ricky Pearsall, Juwan Jennings, both like low-end flex plays. I'd prefer to keep those guys on my bench, but if you have to, you can play them. I'd probably lean Pearsall over Jennings and just hope that he's fully acclimated now after sort of like a ramp-up week last week against Arizona. But it's tough. I don't really want to play either one of those guys, but there are options if you have to go there. So that'll do it for the videos this week. If you have any specific start-sit questions for me, let me know in the comments below. I will do my best to get back to you guys before the kickoff, so just don't let me know. Don't ask a question at like 9 a.m. Sunday. I'll still try to get to you, but I just can't guarantee it at that point. Other than that, waivers come up next week. We'll go over defenses that we want to target for the playoffs, so stay tuned for that video. We'll do our final set of trade videos for the year as well. Obviously, week 13, typically like right around the later end of trade deadlines, so no need to be making trade videos during the fantasy playoffs. Teams don't really trade at that point. But yeah, should be a lot of fun. If you guys want to make sure you don't miss any of the future content, just make sure you subscribe to the channel. Drop any questions or comments you have in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys with the next one. Peace, guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, check out these other videos here if you haven't. If you want more content, please feel free to follow me on Twitter at RealSteelFFB. I'll be more active on there as the season goes on. Thanks. Catch you later.